Hi, I'm Dr. Hart, and I've got a question for you. Are your tight hips causing you to have low back pain? And so a lot of people come in, they tell me that their back is really stiff, but in fact, it might be that you just have stiff hips. When we look at the low back, you can see here that there's not a whole lot of movement that takes place in this area of your spine. When we look at these joints, you can see that they're built up on the side so that there's only about 1 to 2 degrees of rotation in the low back. So that's why it's so important that when you're exercising and you're out being active that you maintain a neutral spine and you keep that spine in a nice neutral position, but that you work on gaining more hip mobility and more hip action in there to protect your low back. So to just demonstrate 3 of my favorite exercises that I like to show this, we've got TJ here from Praxis Fit here in Batavia. And so as we watch TJ, he's going to do, as far as just a child pose stretch, so this is your level 1, stage 1. Here he's reaching in with his hands, he's engaging his abs, but he's keeping a nice neutral spine. So you notice how that back is nice and flat, and he's sinking deep into his hips to get some good hip stretching in there, but keeping a nice neutral back in here. In our stage 2, he's going to do what's called the beast reach. And we're reaching forward there, he's got a nice stretch, and he's bringing his hip up. The whole time, he's still maintaining a nice neutral spine, but we're working on that hip mobility and strength and core strengthening here. The next one of my favorites, is the scorpion reach. He's going to go in here, he's reaching back. Again, look at how the spine, we're seeing some flexion to the side here, but not a lot of rotation. All his twisting is coming through his hips. So as we're looking at the spine here, we've got twist in the hips, but the back is staying in a nice neutral position. What TJ is going to show for us next is what happens if you do it wrong. So if your hips are tight and you try to do that scorpion reach, and now we're seeing a lot more twist in here through the low back. And that's all caused by this tight hip that's forcing more rotation in his low back, putting his low back at risk of injury. And that's probably one of the main reasons that, or main causes that I see a lot of people come into the office is because they've lost that mobility in their hips, they're doing activities and it's forcing them to twist more through their low back, they're losing that neutral spinal position and they're hurting themselves. So that's Dr. Hart here with TJ from Praxis Fit. I hope that we gave you some good information.